A single earthquake can change an entire country's economy overnight. But how? Let's break it down.
Okay, so today we are diving deep into the magnitude 7.7 earthquake that hit Myanmar back on March 28th.
Right near Mandalay.
Yeah, near Mandalay. And we had this fascinating report from the USGS, the United States Geological Survey.
Yeah,
and
the USGS.
Yeah. So we are going to try to figure out what an earthquake like this, what this means for a country's economy. I mean, when you have an earthquake at that scale, and are there any sort of surprises?
Yeah, any ripple effects that go beyond
exactly.
the immediate area.
Yeah.
So when you look at the report, what's really striking right off the bat is the damage to infrastructure. I mean, they're estimating about a fifth of the buildings in Mandalay just gone.
Wow.
And that's just, think about that for a second if you're trying to run a business there.
Yeah.
Factories, supply chains, everything is just disrupted.
Yeah. And, of course, the human cost is significant.
Absolutely.
Over 150 lives lost and hundreds injured.
It's tragic.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. And beyond that, we're talking about a reduction in the workforce, and
productivity.
Yeah, impacting productivity. And then you have the government that now has this, a huge bill for relief and then rebuilding.
Right. And that's where it gets really interesting because, Myanmar is already one of the poorest countries in Asia. And,
right.
They're still dealing with the fallout from the 2021 coup.
Yeah.
This earthquake really, it could push them further into debt or even fuel inflation,
Right, as they try to recover.
Exactly.
So when we look beyond, kind of the immediate devastation, what does the report suggest about the long-term economic kind of picture for Myanmar?
Well, they're saying there's a good chance of, slower GDP growth for a while. I mean, with the damage to infrastructure and the loss of, part of the workforce, that's almost inevitable.
Right.
They even use the term economic scarring.
Oh, wow.
Which I think really gets to the heart of it. It's the idea that this could have, a lasting negative impact on the economy for years to come, even after they rebuild, especially if they don't get, significant help from the international community.
Yeah, and I imagine, this kind of uncertainty could really scare off investors.
Oh, absolutely.
Both from inside the country and from outside.
Yeah, who's going to want to put their money in industries like manufacturing or tourism when
the ground is literally shaking?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all about confidence. And, when you have an earthquake like this, it really shakes that confidence. And that's vital for long-term recovery and growth.
What's interesting here is that the impact wasn't limited to Myanmar.
That's right.
We tend to think of, earthquake in Myanmar. It's a Myanmar problem.
Right.
But the report highlights some pretty significant damage further afield. For example, in Bangkok, Thailand.
A high-rise building that was under construction collapsed.
Wow.
At least 8 people died.
And that's, Bangkok is quite a ways away from the epicenter.
It is, yeah.
That really highlights the power of this earthquake and how far-reaching it was.
And it also speaks to the bigger picture, the interconnectedness of the region's economies.
Yeah, countries like Laos, India, China, Bangladesh, they all felt the tremors.
They did. And, when something happens in one part of the system, it can create these ripple effects that can destabilize the whole region.
So the takeaway here is that this earthquake in Myanmar is going to have, lasting economic consequences for the country itself.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking widespread destruction, tragic loss of life, increased government spending.
Yeah.
But what's really kind of surprising is how far the impact actually reached with, tremors and damage even reported as far away as Bangkok.
Right.
It suggests that, we might be more vulnerable than we think.
That's right. I mean, it really highlights how interconnected we are.
Yeah.
We often think of natural disasters as localized events.
Right.
But in our globalized world, the economic consequences can be felt much further afield.
So something to think about is how I might seemingly, localized natural disasters like this one increasingly create unexpected global economic vulnerabilities, as our world becomes more interconnected.
Absolutely something to ponder.
Yeah. Thanks for diving deep with us.
You got it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. If you find this video helpful, like to support us, comment to share your thoughts, and share to spread the value to more people. Thank you for being part of our community.